Number one is, are you on your purpose? Does it light you up? Number two, does it serve people? Number three, do you gain energy from doing it? And can you scale it in a way that, number four, helps you become profitable? I'm not saying profit's not important. It is very important because it is the greatest metric of value created in the marketplace.
Welcome to the Thought Leader Revolution with Nikki Ballou. Join the revolution. There's never been a better time in history to speak your truth, find your freedom, and make your fortune. Each week, we interview the world's top thought leaders and learn the secrets of how they built a 6 to 7 figure practice. This episode has been brought to you by eCircleacademy.com, the proven system to add 6 to 7 figures a year to your thought leader practice.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the podcast, The Thought Leader Revolution. I'm your host, Nikki Ballou, and boy, do we have an incredible guest lined up for you today. Today's guest is a new friend. He's my brother from another mother. He is a member of the incredible, inspirational, world-changing, transformational leadership council. He is a globally renowned thought leader. I am speaking, of course, of none other than the one, the only, the legendary Steve D'Annunzio. Welcome to the show, Steve.
Thank you, Nikki. Great to be here, my brother. Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
My pleasure. So, Steve, the folks that listen to this show are heart-driven entrepreneurs. They want to make the world a better place, and they want to live life and fulfill their destiny. They come here not because of me. I'm here every week. They're here because of you. They want to get to know you. They want to learn from you. But before they can truly open themselves up to you, they got to get to know you. So tell us your backstory. How'd you get to be the great Steve D'Annunzio?
Well, the great is the gift that I call soul purpose, that I followed my passion, but not only my passion, I followed my talent. And I think the great Joseph Campbell said, follow your bliss. And he's right. That's the beginning point. But one of the most important pieces is also to follow your talent.
Yeah.
You know, there's millions of people, Nikki, that love to play music. I started out as a musician, and I was very frustrated by the age of 29. I'm a good musician, maybe even very good. I would not say I'm great. I hadn't found my greatness yet. But I was playing spiritual music. I was playing music. I was playing chant. I was playing in churches, wellness centers, temples, mosques. And I started playing sacred events. And I met a dear friend who's my brother, Fred Johnson, who was on the road with Chick Corea. And we began writing plays. Fred is one of the greatest world-class jazz singers in the world. Played with Chick Corea, David Sanborn, Patti LaBelle, George Benson, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, Fred and I became dearest and best friends. And Fred had met now our friend, Jack Canfield, singing at an event of Jack's, and introduced me to the Transformational Leadership Council in the early 2000s. And I went and played music there and made friends with many of the people there and was invited in. So that was an entry point. But almost more importantly, to follow my talent, I had a dear, dear friend who wound up working for Tony Robbins in the early 90s.
Oh, yeah.
And he was walking around with Tony Robbins, a small DVD set, and actually at the time it was a VHS's, with a little TV and a VHS recorder hooked to it. And he would walk down Wall Street, knocking on doors, cold calling, saying, I'm selling Tony Robbins programs. If you want to double your production, listen to me. And he was my other best friend, God rest his soul, he's now deceased, but he invited me to work with him. And I was at the time crossing over from making my living as a musician to moving into personal development. I began studying personal development. And Nikki, I wrote down 4 or 5 names of people I had studied. Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, Jack Canfield, Marianne Williamson. And then Barbara Marx Hubbard was another that I studied, and she was really kind of an evolutionary personal development, spiritual biologist. And as it turned out, over the next 10 years, every single one of them I worked with and shared the stage with.
Wow.
every single one of them. And I began to realize the power of not just the law of attraction. I'm going to make a distinction here, and I hope I'm not disrupting anybody's expectations. If I am, good. And I'll tell you why. You entrepreneurs know this. It's not enough to put something up on a board. It's not enough to put a painting on a board. It's beautiful to keep you focused, but the key is not the law of attraction. The key is, what are you vibrating into the world? What service, what value are you creating that's unique, that you're passionate about, that you're thinking about at night because you're passionate about it, but you also have a talent. And what I discovered, Nikki, is that I had a talent for explaining complex spiritual principles in the guise of business. And so by following my bliss and my music, I met my brother, dear brother, Fred Johnson. By following my friendship and my understanding of how to explain spiritual principles to my brother, Jeff, he brought me into the world of personal development, and I married it. And of course, the LLC, my company, is now called The Enlightened Entrepreneur. Yeah. And the reason that that's important, you know. So that's how I got where I am, my brother.
That's a heck of a story.
Thank you.
So why do you think you were led onto this path?
Because each of us has a connection to divine intelligence, and I was following my ego path, right? There's two aspects of self. We have a reptilian and mammalian brain. Those are the instincts of fight, flight, want, and worry. Fight or flight, want, and worry. The reptilian brain is fight or flight. The mammalian brain is want and worry. But there's also the higher self. Love, learn, logic. Love, learn, logic. And I was able to, through studying with Deepak Chopra, Marianne Williamson, Wayne Dyer, Marianne's book when I was working with her was A Return to Love.
Yeah,
I was a fear-driven, right? Yeah. I was by the way, she's part of the Transformational Leadership Council. Yeah. I was a fear-driven, scarcity-driven human being. And I was able to, through implementing their work, cross over from fear to love and from scarcity to prosperity, which then I wrote the book Prosperity Paradigm, which became a minor bestseller amongst financial advisors.
Wow. So how did you land on working with financial advisors, from music to personal development?
Yeah.
To business, to financial advisors? Because these guys aren't, let's face it, known for being spiritually enlightened.
Au contraire, mi amigo. That was my French and Spanish.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great question. The shift from the lower self, in our lower self, we're fear-driven, scarcity-driven. And it's always about what I want, what I want, what I want. In the higher self, it becomes tuning into divine intelligence and saying, what is wanted of me? What is wanted of me? And I kept being asked to go back into the business world. I started to realize what I call the law of synchronicity, that there are no accidents in an interconnected universe. The physicist Alan Aspect, the French physicist, proved this in quantum mechanics. He separated two particles that were light particles that were originally connected, and he sent them 20,000 miles away. And when he measured one, the other spun. They were still interconnected. Everything in quantum mechanics is in one universe, one uni being one, verse being song. We are like one vibrational song, and we're all interconnected. When I listen to what is wanted of me, instead of, here's what I want, here's what I want, here's what I want. I'll give you an example for listeners. I earned enough money to retire. I'll be 68 Earth years in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And I was thinking about
happy early birthday, brother.
Thank you, my brother. I was thinking about at age 70 that I would go into non-full-time work. I don't believe in retirement, so I don't want to call it that. And recently, I got called by God. I meditate every day, and I want to make a distinction. Prayer, intention, affirmation, those are putting your order in, right? Vibrating into the universe. Meditation is listening to God. Prayer is speaking to God. So every morning I began meditating. I started this 30 years ago
Wow.
and meditate every day without fail. And because I'm interested in listening to the divine, what does divine intelligence want of me? And recently I was called to put my 5 books, 25 workbooks, 400 presentations, 5 years of online university into an private AI platform, which I'm now licensing to the biggest insurance companies in the world. And so by listening to divine intelligence, right, and there's a million licensed financial advisors in the life insurance industry alone. If we captured 1% market share at $250 a month to use our coaching program, you do the math. Now, am I doing it for profit? No, I'm doing it because I was called. My primary purpose is to use AI for good, not to replace human beings, but to reconnect each of you to your divine intelligence that allows you to think, that beats your heart, that digests your food, and that allows you to hear and evolve.
Let's get into this whole conversation of using AI for good, because I actually really like that you said that. There's a lot of excitement around AI. There's also a lot of fear around AI.
Right.
There's few people who've been able to bridge the conversation of the promise of AI into using AI for good. There's all this talk about the potential downside of using AI for evil that's out there. So talk about using AI for good. What do you mean by that?
Everybody listening to this call, I'm going to give you the key why you tuned in today. Ready? A, you are a divine being having a human experience. You have a purpose on this earth, and your soul, which is connected to God, knows it. When we are stuck in our thinking mind or our ego, we are disconnected from our soul. It's there, but we can't hear the message. So I'm going to help you understand you are here for a divine reason. That's number one. Number two, every time you speak into your AI, your main AI, whether it's Perplexity, Gemini, DeepMind, ChatGPT, whatever you're using, make sure that you're storing to memory everything that you're doing. Make sure then you're clearing out of the memory the things that are unimportant. If you ask a really unimportant question, because here's the one question that you can ask your AI. It knows how you in your business could best use it to scale your business, to become more purposeful, to help humanity evolve, and to become more profitable. Here's the question. Hey, knowing me as you do, ChatGPT, what is the best way for me to use AI to help increase the consciousness of human beings, upscale and leverage my business, and to become most profitable? When you ask that question, Nikki, I promise you, my brother, your mind will go.
Okay, repeat the question, brother.
Knowing me as you do, right? You're saying this to the AI because what you're doing is really you want it to go back into memory and analyze every conversation and prompt you've made. Knowing me as you do, what is the most effective way for me to use AI to get my message out to the world, to leverage and upscale my practice and my business, to increase and raise the consciousness of humanity through my service and product, and to become most profitable, getting my message out, upscaling and up leveraging, raising the humanity, because by the way, all of us, what we're doing here, the divine golden thread that weaves you and I together, you and Teresa together, you and Raymond Aaron together, me, you and Jack together, and all the people that we were with a couple of weeks ago in Montreal, it's one thing.
Yeah.
We are here to improve the welfare of humanity, to alleviate suffering, which is the real purpose of business. Not many know this.
Yeah.
By evolving the consciousness of humanity, which is struggling right now because something has happened in the year 2000 and 2001 that not many people know. What happened was that consciousness, which always tracked above technology for 250,000 years. 200,000 years ago, the invention of the wheel was preceded by the thought. The thought was up here. The thought then came down and a wheel was invented. Consciousness always tracked above technology, but very recently, and 9/11 was the singular event, by the way, technology exceeded the consciousness to use it benevolently. And it was used for evil. Technology was used for evil. And that's the play of light and dark that you and I are in, and why every listener here who is an enlightened light worker understands the benevolent power of business. Profit is the fourth important thing about business. Profit is fourth. The first important thing is that you're uplifting your own consciousness through your talent, through your thinking, through following your bliss. It's all three. It's not just bliss. If it was bliss, I'd be in the music business playing for $50 a night.
Yeah, for real.
That's not very profitable, okay?
No.
Right? The music, I just read an article that the worst degree right now is an art degree. Now, I think art is one of the most magical, fantastic things to heal our souls. But as far as business, it has been completely inflated and marginalized.
Yep.
You can get, 1 billion songs right on this little device called a smartphone, right?
Yep.
So number one is, are you on your purpose? Does it light you up? Number two, does it serve people? Number three, do you gain energy from doing it? And can you scale it in a way that, number four, helps you become profitable? I'm not saying profit's not important. It is very important because it is the greatest metric of value created in the marketplace. There is no greater metric unless you're out of integrity, because remember, Nikki, and you and I have talked about this before, there are three versions of exchange in the world today.
Yeah.
Three versions of exchange, okay? Crony capitalism, conscious capitalism, and compassionate capitalism. Compassionate Capitalism was a book written by our dear friend Blaine Bartlett with Dave Meltzer.
Yep.
And let me give all the listeners the distinction, then I'll, park the car and throw you the keys for a minute. Crony capitalism, we see it everywhere, right? Crony capitalism is kind of easy because falsehood people get. It's truth people fear. People don't fear falsehood. It's truth people fear. Truth is hard, takes a long time to come to, super expensive. Super expensive to figure out what is the truth. Like, how long would it take to really unravel the truth of why the English Empire fell? You'd have to do archaeological digs. You'd have to do all sorts of stuff. Falsehood, I can write a story about why it fell. Like, we can write that story in a couple days, you and I. Falsehood's easy. Crony capitalism's based in falsehood. It's based in lying, cheating, stealing. I call it cold seduction. Cold seduction. We see it every day. And all the models of cold seduction are being revealed, and they're falling quickly. Just look around at the political perfidy in the world. Look around at the religious issues in the world. Look around at the governments that are crumbling worldwide every day. Some new government, some new banking system, gone, right? Then there's the secondary thing, which you and I practiced early in our lives, which is called warm seduction. The distinction is we're doing it with values-driven leadership. I have no problem with warm seduction. It's called selling. I have no problem with it. But there's something higher every listener here is being called to. Warm seduction, right, is about creating a relationship. It's about finding where people's pain points are. It's about positioning what you have as a product or service in an integrous way as a potential solution, persuading that person, even using power language to close that person. This is warm seduction. We do it in relationships. It's happening right now. A guy's in a bar wooing a girl's in a bar wooing another guy. That's warm seduction. And again, I have no problem with it. It's selling. Here's the issue. Everybody's in pain. Everybody in the world is walking around in pain. So even if you're a warm seducer with high values and you hit someone's pain point, they freaking hate being sold. Now, people love to buy, but they hate being sold. So the third model of compassionate capitalism is authentic value creation. It's what you did when you invited me to this podcast. It's what you did. And if I create enough value for people, they'll follow up on what I'm doing, some service, some product. And if they do, I love you. And if they don't, God bless you, I love you. It's all perfect. It is collaborative, not competitive free market exchange. It's based on the fact that we are in a crisis of truth. And so we're operating in trusted networks now. You came through Raymond Aaron, who's a trusted, enlightened entrepreneur. I came to this meeting through Jack Canfield, who's an enlightened, trusted entrepreneur. And now you and I are together. And now you, because you're collaborative, because you're a compassionate capitalist, invited me with ultimately nothing in it for you. But you and I both know the law of vibration and attraction, which is when I vibrate good energy into the world through my thoughts, through my words, through my actions, through my choices, the universe has no choice but to return back and attract back to us what we vibrate into the world. Now, if we do it with really good systems of leverage, we become super purposeful and profitable. And to me, that's called building a life you love or living your soul purpose.
Wow. That's supercalifragilistic brilliant, man.
Thank you, brother.
So I'm just curious, how do the people in the financial services industry respond when you share these concepts with them?
Some of them feel amazingly gifted and blessed to be in the room. Some of them feel like the divine led them into the room because, look, everybody in some way is in contradiction. And we're all in a way praying for help, either for somebody in our family, somebody in our social circle, somebody in our business circle, or ourselves. You know, we're praying for the end of this terrible war in Gaza. We're not praying for a side. We're praying for an end to violence, right? So we're all in contradiction. So when somebody in the financial services industry hears me walking in, it's an 80-20 rule. It used to be, when I started this in the mid 90s, 80% would think I'm crazy and 20% would think this is amazing. Now it's reversed.
Wow. That's incredible to me. That's
now it's reversed.
Incredible.
Because of what you said in your last podcast, which is the world's on fire. How can I come in and use what I love to share and serve to put the fire out? How do we serve in our own little way?
There's so many people that are in pain at one level or another. And the pain of some people is, I got to take care of survival, financial, etc. The pain of other people who've handled that is, I don't like who I've become on the way to all this financial success.
Yes. Right.
I don't even know who I really am because I played a part to get all this success.
Indeed.
Or they lost connection with the people they love the most, their family. And at one level or another, they're all walking around the world putting on a mask of, I'm good, I'm powerful, leave me alone. But underneath that, they just want to be seen. They want to be heard. They want to be understood. They want to be loved. They want to be encouraged. You know, I think I shared this with you when we spoke after the TLC event, that just before the TLC event, I did a small, intimate event with some clients, and we had six buyers in the room for our year-long program. You know, which is an investment, right? It's they got to put some money to do it. There were two people in the room who were a hard no to going further forward. Hard no. And my sweetheart said, I'm going to do something to wow these people. And I said, what are you going to do? She said, I'm going to write a song for all of them using AI, and I'm going to create a video, and we're going to play it for them, and I'm going to get all their origin stories. So you remember what she did for TLC with that song that she put in my presentation, which I put together, right? So, you know, day 3 of a 4-day event, they'd been with me for most of day 1. Day 2, they were with this Hollywood acting coach who does not suffer fools gladly, right? And was hammering people that just were not playing along. And there's me and Teresa wanting to make sure that the love in his message got across and not the hammering, right? And anyways, they spent 8 hours day 2 preparing to shoot a 1-minute video.
Wow.
Like, think about that, right? 1 minute to put their message and their love out there. Like, this guy's amazing. We're gonna do something with him. You should come. You'd love it. You'd absolutely love it. It'd be something spectacular and wild. But they've shot all the video. I've done my little piece at the end of day 2. Everybody's tired. You know what I mean?
Yep.
About 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's been intense. Everyone wants to go back to their hotel room. Okay. Nobody wants to keep staying in the room. But Teresa goes to everybody, and you know how sweet and lovely she is when she makes a request. She goes, look, I've put something together for you guys. It's going to take another 45 minutes, but I promise you, you're going to like it. And remember, everyone's tired. Everyone wants to leave on the spot. So she plays the first song for one of the women in the group, one of the buyers. And it's her story told in a song. And the chorus is so beautiful. I start to cry. The woman's crying. Everyone else in the room is looking, going, oh my God. And then she's done. She hugs Teresa. And then the next person, everybody cries at every song. And I cry. And nobody wants to leave at the end of the 45 minutes. Nobody wants to leave. Remember, everyone wanted to leave. Nobody wants to leave. Now we're trying to kick them out so we can go home and eat dinner and get ready for the final day. Nobody wants to leave, but eventually they all leave. And here's what those songs represented for everybody. They represented them, the best of them being recognized and seen and celebrated in a way that maybe has never happened for any of them before at that level. You know what I mean? So the next day rolls around, and you know, at these events, there's an enrollment opportunity. You know how it works, Steve. You've been around the block. You didn't just fall off the back of the turnip truck. The enrollment opportunity. So I do the enrollment opportunity, and then, you know, it's a high ticket item. So I go and I meet with everybody individually because, you know, I do the warm seduction piece you talk about at that point, right?
Yeah.
You know, plus the authentic value, which has been delivered. Now, a couple of people said, yep, I'm in, signed up right away. Then I went to the third person. He was a little nervous, but he's like, okay, I'm in. And then I go to the people who said their no's. Excuse me.
God bless you.
Thank you. Brother, they changed their mind. They're in.
See, you didn't close them. Teresa opened them.
Teresa opened them. I did not close them. This is 100% true.
You couldn't close those guys. They were already a no when they tried.
They were already a no, dude. I just sat with them, and they said, here's the deal. We really want to do this. But then there's all the objections and the reasons. And they said, they asked me for some special consideration. And I gave them not exactly what they asked for, but I gave them some consideration. And
beautiful.
You know, it was done in a way that they were an immediate yes. Of course we want to be here. Of course we want to be in this community. Steve, what my woman did was open everybody up because they felt something they don't get to feel every day. And what I'm telling everybody is, I want you to listen to your song every day as a way to remind yourself who you are. I want you to listen to this song every day. If you're doing a speech, this will be your walkout song, not whatever song some celebrity wrote, right? This will be your walkout song right now. And before we left TLC, Jack asked us to give him a copy of the song. And he gave, you know, I have his email, and he'd given it to us again, and we sent it to him. And I don't know, maybe we're not on his whitelist because he didn't download it. Like, there's a certain period of time you have to use this downloadable. we're going to get some help in getting it to him. So he knows, hey, Jack, we're trying to send you this, pal, like you asked. So maybe you can help with that, Steve. So
Text it to me, Nikki, and I'll text it to Jack.
you know, the song, it's in a link. I'll have to email it to you. I'll get.
I'll do it. Email it to me, and I'll get it.
Yeah, get it to him from Teresa, because she put a lovely note to it. I'll get her to do that. Because she's got it. I don't. But
beautiful. And send her my love, by the way.
Yeah, I totally will.
And Emily wants to make sure that you guys know that you're invited to Nashville.
Oh, thank you. We'll take you up on that. Like I told you.
I told you, we talked about it, but I told Emily, and she's like, make sure they know they're invited.
So, Steve, I'm Nikki Ballou. If I don't make frivolous, yeah, Steve, I'll come by.
I got you, bro. Steve, I got you. I love that about you.
In the next couple of weeks, I'm going to give you a call, and we'll go, okay, let's pull up the calendar, pal. Let's figure it out.
I got you, bro.
So
I got you.
Anyways, the beauty of that to me was, I just realized, like, everything you just shared with us here ties into what Teresa created. We just hadn't articulated it that way. We just sort of did it.
But I want to say something. What you just proved to the listeners, and I want to define it intellectually, if I may.
Sure.
Warm seduction, and you're great at it. You're great at it. Warm seduction is really values-based enrollment. That's what it is. Yeah. You have high values. You're a man of integrity. You don't lie. You tell the truth. What you do works. You've got a track record. We know this about you. But you tried to close them. You hit their pain points. You tried to close them. Their ego came up, because what is the ego? It is a protective mechanism. Fear is the natural energy of protection. What did Teresa do? She dropped them from the head to the heart.
Yeah.
What is the heart symbolically? I'm not just talking about the blood pumping heart. This is science. This is the Heart Math Institute has now proved what we see when we see pictures of Jesus, the Raphael pictures with his heart here. We can see it, right?
Yes.
The heart is an organ of spiritual perception.
Yes.
The heart is an organ of spiritual perception. And when people drop from thinking with their head, where they're in fear and scarcity and they're protection, they're pushing away, they feel closed, and they're hard no. Her song dropped them into their heart. The heart is an organ of spiritual perception, and love is the natural energy of creation. And they felt the true value creation behind your offer. Instead of being closed, it was an opening. Fear is the natural energy of protection. Love is the natural energy of creation. That's why we say God is the creator, God is love. We've heard this 100 times in the Judeo-Christian world.
Yes.
But we also hear it if we read the Quran, if we read the Tanakh, if we read the Bhagavad Gita, if we read the Zend-Avesta, if we read all the holy books of the world. They ultimately say a very similar thing. So what Teresa did proves the point that when you move from warm seduction to authentic value creation, and we drop not out of our head completely, but instead of only thinking with fear, profit, doubt, worry, how am I being played, which is always hard no, because nobody wants to be closed.
Nobody.
But how can I receive value? And is this an investment in myself? And that's what they saw. When she helped, that music brought them into their heart opened, they wept, and they saw they could actually receive value. And I have an acronym for love that I use at the front of the room in front of thousands of people. LOVE, leaving others valuable experiences. That's how we love on each other.
I love it. Beautiful. Leaving others valuable experiences.
The only reason I'm here, and they see, because you're so good at the warm seduction piece, they kind of like, and they're smart people, they're business people. So they saw the close coming, right? And instantly when they see the close coming, boom, up comes the wall. Yeah. You ain't going to get me. Really, not getting more value is my win? That's actually stupid. Yeah. I want more value from Nikki, or I wouldn't have come.
No, it's beautifully put. I want her to do more of these songs for folks. Because,
by the way, there's a market there. You know that, right?
I do. It's
right? Like if someone has a small event, I don't know how you do it in a big event, right? But you can see like a 15 to 20 person event. And part of the exercise is, on a break, write down the most meaningful, write down your life story. And there's a prompt, right, of the life story. And then she takes them all and takes it back and does her thing. And the next day, in maybe a guided meditation, she plays 5 of them and then the next 5 and the next 5. You wouldn't have to close anybody. You open them.
It's
make an offer.
Yeah, mind-blowingly cool. 100%. That's actually a great idea. That's actually
and she should get paid for it, by the way. All I'm saying is, when she goes to someone's event and and they want to do a so-called old close, and she can say, listen, I can just tell you a story that happened with my husband. Here's what happened. These guys were hard-nosed. They turned into hard yes. I didn't mean it to happen. This is how the divine works.
No,
that's a huge business opportunity. You and I know 100 transformational leaders that would consider having Teresa come in and do it and pay her some money to do it, right? I mean,
honestly, that's a great. I didn't think of doing it the way you said. I had some other ideas, but your way is actually way better, way better. It's a great idea. It's a great idea. I should get her to jump on a call with you because
love it.
You know how
it is.
I'll do that. Sometimes it's better coming from someone else. If you know,
aren't you a wise man? You're so wise. Look at you.
Yeah.
Honey, I got an idea. No, honey, Steve had an idea. You may want to talk.
Yeah, buddy. Trust me. That's why.
Yeah, but look, you just mapped it out in your brain, and everybody listening to this did too, right? She charges $5,000 airfare and hotel, right? And then on the back end, she charges, if they like the song, the people that the song was done for pay her $250 each. If you got 20 people in the room, it's another $5,000. She walks away with $10,000 and some referrals. And bing, bing, bing.
And taking it one step further, if at your events as a transformational leader, let's say you've been getting 30% uptake, and then she comes in and you get 80% uptake, maybe she gets a piece of the 80% too.
There you go. Now you got it.
Yeah.
See, that's the beauty of value creation. And the model here, everybody, the principle is that trust times value equals win 3. Win with a little 3.
You know who's doing an event on a cruise is Raymond. And I should say, Teresa's supposed to do a song for him. I don't know if he's made himself available for that, but I should say to him, Raymond, if you have anything you're doing as an up enrollment, bring Teresa in for a special group. She'll do the song, and you pay her to do this for everybody. Give them the experience, and then if your enrollment rate goes up, boom.
Are you open to giving her a taste of the commish?
Yeah, I got to talk to her, buddy. Talk to her.
I will, buddy.
Please.
I will. You have my text.
I do. Yeah. I want to do a little text and show. Yeah. So,
but I want everybody to notice what just happened, right? Because everything that Nikki and I were talking about when we talked about coming on the podcast just happened.
Yeah.
It just happened live. So every listener, remember, you're making it happen in the same way. Go into your AI and say, knowing me as you do, what's the one singular thing I can use, incorporating AI to upscale my business, create more value for human beings, improve the welfare of humanity through my products and services, and make more money. And when money is used in that way, it's the greatest metric of value created in the market.
I love it.
Because it doesn't lie.
No, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't.
Human beings lie, but the money doesn't. The results are reality, right?
Results are 1,000% reality. So, Steve, this has been a spectacular interview. Tell me, if people want to check out what you do, check out your work, where should we send them?
MissionDrivenAdvisor.com. MissionDrivenAdvisor.com. MissionDrivenAdvisor.com.
Love it.
And I have a new book out called Soul Purpose Meditations. And it is a spiritual philosophy of love-driven leadership. If you are a theist, you'll resonate with it. Doesn't matter the religion. If you are an atheist, you'll resonate with it. If you're agnostic, you'll resonate with it. It is a series of daily meditations, some of them only a paragraph long, some of them a page and a half with an exercise. The first 40 break you out of identifying yourself as the ego thinking mind. The next 40 connect your soul to the divine oversoul that we call God via the Wi-Fi link that we call spirit. Spirit and soul are different. Yeah. Everybody's got a soul, but there's three kinds of souls in the world right now. Souls that are lost, they're doing evil. Souls in the middle that don't know where they are, who they are, why they're here, or how they serve. And then souls who are awakened, who are living with an awakened spirit. The spirit is that your soul is connected to God, Goddess, all that is. The spirit is the connection. And then you're downloading. Everything I'm sharing with listeners here has been downloaded from the divine. Download, download, download. How do I upload it? By serving others, leaving others valuable experiences. We download from creator. We upload through value creation. Download through creator, upload through serving. Download from creator, upload through. This is what Soul Purpose Meditations was about. I wrote them for business people. So the book's there. You can get it on Amazon. And I also have a new album that's called From Pain to Purpose.
Steve, if you got 10, 12 copies of that one lying around, I'd like to purchase them from you. I'd like you to sign them and ship them to us for our clients in our meeting in October.
Done, buddy.
All right, great. Folks, as you can tell, Steve D'Annunzio is the real deal. And you definitely want to go check out his website. You definitely want to go check out his book. I'm going to order a dozen copies for our clients, and he's going to sign them with some beautiful, pithy inscription that's going to be resonating with them at a soul level. And you should do something beautiful for yourself when you buy books to give away to people, even if they're not your own book that you wrote. Inscribe something in the book as to why you decided to give them this book, because that'll touch the person reading it, not just once, but again and again every time they read it. So do that. Steve, we end off each episode by asking you, our guest expert, to share with us your top 3 expert action steps. These are your best pieces of advice to take my listener and elevate them. What say you?
The first is go into your AI and do what I said to do 3 times. You're missing the fact, potentially, not all listeners, but some, that you have Albert Einstein working constantly for you. It is not a tool. It is an agent. You can make this agent work 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
Ask it how to help you. That's number 1. Number 2, begin a meditation practice that you do not fail. Even if you only start out every morning for 5 minutes, it will change your life. Tim Ferriss wrote a book 5 years ago, and it was a bestseller, called Tribe of Mentors.
Yeah.
He took 100 people who are huge players in the world, have huge mentorship audiences, and he asked them the same 7 questions. About 45 to 50% of the answers to what's the one thing you did that changed your life, it was meditation. Because again, meditation is not some weird Eastern mysticism. It is a science of mind where you break through identifying yourself as the ego thinking mind filled with fear, doubt, worry, and scarcity and anxiety. And you go beyond it to live with an awakened spirit. And then you get to download new business ideas and way to serve people. You know, ask Jack Canfield, who sold 350 million copies of Chicken Soup for the Soul. Where'd you get the name Chicken Soup for the Soul? He got it in a meditation. Marcy Shimoff, who wrote Chicken Soup for the Woman's Soul with Jack, was in a 7-day silent meditation retreat. 3 days in, got the idea to write Chicken Soup for the Woman's Soul, which then led to 32 spin-off books.
Wow.
Right. So, and she's got to be quiet for the next 4 days. If you know Marcy, it's impossible because she's such a great, communicator, business person. She knew she had a winner. And of course, they sold millions of books. Right. So that's the second thing, is meditation. Third thing is remember who you are. There are 3 pieces here spiritually that Nikki touched on beautifully. When you know who you are, when you know why you are, and when you know how you serve, life makes sense. When you don't know those things, life is empty and meaningless, because the whole point of life is to make your life mean something. How? You know who you are, you know why you are, and you know how you serve. I sure do know that about you and Teresa, brother. I love you, and I thank you for having me here today. It's been a really wonderful time.
Steve, man, honestly, you're welcome, but the pleasure's all mine. Thank you for coming on the show. It's a real honor to have had you here. Listener, make sure that you take good notes, especially that question that he asked earlier that I asked him to repeat the answer to twice around AI. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it later today. I suggest you do the same.
Email me back if you will, Nikki, or text me. I'm really interested to see what comes back for you.
I will definitely do that. And
because I'll tell you one piece that's important.
Yes.
Is you are shifting from conscious capitalism, which you're a really good conscious capitalist, to compassionate capitalism. And that shift, including Teresa and the things you said about the song and that, it's going to make a huge difference in how people receive your message.
You're right. You're right. And I've been looking for a way to do that. You know, it's funny that you mentioned that, but I've been looking for a way to do that.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. I think that we are poised to reach a bigger audience right now. And it's time for us to make that happen. There's a few things, and I'll talk to you about a couple of them offline when we get recording.
Yeah, but you and many of your listeners are at that same inflection point.
Yeah.
You're both at that same inflection point. This is no accident. You're hearing this, right?
Yeah.
And you saw it happen live through the idea of what Teresa did. I didn't know Nikki was going to tell me that story, but you can feel that's what divine intelligence is doing through these networks of trust.
Networks of trust is a brilliant phrase.
Well, trust is the new currency.
Trust is the new currency, brother. It is the most important new currency. We should have another conversation fully about
Love
that.
it.
Just about.
Well, you guys are going to come to Nashville in the next time frame. Let's talk about that, so we can. So it's an ongoing conversation.
Yeah. I'll bring a mobile studio with me, man. It'll be fun. It's a thing these days, the mobile studio. I've seen there's dudes that are doing that. I'm like, okay, that doesn't look that hard. Let's do it. So
absolutely.
Yeah, no.
And we're in Nashville. They're all over here.
Yeah, that's true too.
I'm going to record this afternoon, if not this afternoon, tomorrow. I'm doing another album. I'm doing my 4th album. So I don't know if you can see this. Can you see this from Pain to Purpose? It won't show.
No, it won't show. That's all right.
That's all right. We'll get it.
Take a picture and text it to me. I'd love to see it.
I will, brother.
I'd love to grab it. So listener, make sure that you do that, and make sure that you share this episode and the main message with someone in your life that needs to hear it. The more you pour into other people, the good that you get, the more good will pour into you. Remember that. Until next time, goodbye.
This episode has been brought to you by eCircleAcademy.com, the proven system to add 6 to 7 figures a year to your thought leader practice.